What is up guys, Lone Wolf here. Today we're going to be going into a new video series called the What's and Why's of the Arena. What this series basically will be is a gameplay review series where we watch some of my games and I explain what and why I'm doing certain things against certain comps. That way you can see that happening in real time compared to just listening to me talk about it in a guide. To start this series off, we're going to be talking about how to combat wizards as a melee wings paladin. A lot of people come to me and they say, hey man, I'm getting bursted out by like a single LA shaman, or I'm getting constantly CC'd by mages and there just seems to be nothing I could do to win the game. So we're going to be going into the gameplay footage and some of the tips and tricks I have that I use in my games to win against these guys. And maybe at the end of the day, we could get a little bit of a higher win rate against these comps. One last thing before we start the video, I just wanted to say if you do have any suggestions for this series, the What's and Why's of the Arena, please leave those suggestions down in the comments below. I would be more than happy to make an entire video about your suggestions. So I'm going to do one about melee cleaves and I'm going to do one about one melee, one range. So I do have those videos planned. Anything else, just let me know. I also do stream over on Twitch. I'll leave a link to my Twitch down in the description below. I'll be live anytime after 6:30 CST PM Monday through Friday. I'd love for you guys to come over and hang out with me. It'd be sweet to see you guys. With no further ado, let's get straight into this video. I'm going to quickly talk about classes you should respect based on their ability to solo you from 100% to 0. I just wanted to say if you do not need to listen to this part of the video, absolutely no problem. Feel free to skip ahead to the gameplay section of the video, which will be marked in the video player down below. Classes you should be afraid of just based on damage, purely alone being able to 0 you from 1 to 100, you need to respect LA Shamans. This class will murder you, dude. The moment they pop Stormkeeper and you have you have a Flame Shock on you, and they're casting Lava Burst and maybe those lightning bolts are coming, you will get zeroed out. So please, please, please respect LA Shamans. Always be vigilant, always be aware. Keep track of Stormkeeper. If Stormkeeper's up, I just Aura Mastery it straight up. I Aura Mastery every Stormkeeper if I haven't used that button yet. So I'll see if they're looking at me, and if they are, I just press wall. I do not take the chance of getting hit by an LA Shaman. Always be vigilant, always be aware. Try to dispel Flame Shock as often as you can. That way you just reduce that amount of damage that's coming into you. Because if you have Flame Shock on you and you get hit by Lava Burst, you're going to get crit and you're going to take huge damage. So just be very careful. Shadow Priest, almost as bad as LA Shaman, but just in a different way. So let's say you don't have a trinket and they stun you and then they siphoned you. So they're starting to work you and your health's whittling down. And then out of the stun, they silence you and they're working you. And out of the silence, they mind games you. So now you have to cleanse yourself so you don't kill yourself. And then you cleanse yourself and then they kill you off of the horrifying effect that happens. So this class is absolutely annoying. You need to respect this class when you're standing out in the open and the kill potential they may have on you. So please be very aware of those Shadow Priests. Let's talk about Destrolock. I'm going to put it in the A tier against respect just based on damage, since they can't really hard stun you and just bolt you. They could like fear you, bolt you, but your teammates should be able to intervene at this point. If you get Holy Locked in the open and they get triple bolt on you, you're just dead. So I still respect Destrolocks. They can sneak up on you, but yeah, just be aware of the Chaos Bolt cast and your situation. If your health bar is full, if you're at half health and you're locked and stuff, just like take into consideration the Chaos Bolt cast as a melee wings paladin. If you're on top of the lock and you could kick Chaos Bolt, great. You could Crusader Strike heal off of him. You could Judgment heal off him, awesome. That's why I'm fighting against Destrolocks in the A tier. But that's pretty much all I have to say about Destro right now. Looking at Demonology, I'm going to put this in the A tier too. It's just as good as Destro, and yes, it has a hard stun and they can coil you and kick you. It's like they have a little bit more to try and kill you. The reason why I'm putting it in the A tier is yes, the damage is there. Yes, they could stun you, but it's not a magical stun, so I could just bop that off of me and run away. At the end of the day, they're not as good as Shadow Priest simply because their stun is physical, and I could bop that compared to, let's say I don't have a trinket, I get stunned by the Destrolock, I just bought myself out of it. So that magical stun property that the Shadow Priest has definitely makes it, like, it's insane, man. The go of a Shadow Priest is, I definitely respect it way more than the Demonology lock. But yeah, so Demonology lock is just as good as its counterpart, the Destrolock, and that's what I'm going to say about this class. So just be very aware about the Tyrant and all of his little pets, and if he stuns you, consider bopping out. For Fire Mage, just based on damage alone, I kind of want to put this in the S tier, and the B tier at the same time. It honestly just depends what you're fighting. So let's say you're fighting RMP and they have a stun every single combustion. This is deadly. It could take you from 100 to 0 really fast. But let's say you're fighting Destro Fire Mage for some reason and they don't really have a way to stun you and he just pops Bust. You could literally just turn around and walk away. So for me, I'm going to put this in the A tier. Do respect combustion. If you're stunned, you need to wall this, obviously. If you're stunned and you have a trinket and they have combust and shadow blades are up, I would just trinket this stuff and try to turn around and run away. Obviously pressure wall, but yeah, I'm gonna put this in the A tier just based on that. If you're fighting a team, excuse me, a fire mage with a lot of stuns on the team, S. If you're fighting it like a mediocre fire mage comp, then B, C tier even. So yeah, just respect combustion and stuns. Going into frost mage, I'm gonna be real, man. I'm gonna get some hate for this. I think I'm not that afraid of these guys. I'm gonna put them in the B tier for me. Like, yes, they have a glacial that could just absolutely destroy you. It honestly just depends, but on average, when I fight mages and they're going me, they have frozen orb and they have icy veins up and they're just boom, 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 boom. They're building those icicles up, hit me. And even with glacial and my wall, I just feel like the pressure's not there. I never really die to big glacial, and I just tank their go. It just honestly feels underwhelming, especially if beacon's on me and I'm instant casting and they can't kick me. So yeah, I'm gonna just put my experience with Frost Mage is it's a B tier. I'm not really afraid of them based on their damage alone. Obviously their CC is super annoying, but yeah, for me personally, in my experience, Frost Mage, I just tank their goes and it's not really that big of a deal. Arcane mages are a completely different story. However, I've been absolutely massacred by these guys in the opener. I want to give them A+ because they're not very consistent. Maybe it's just the players I'm fighting against, and I honestly don't know a whole lot about arcane mages. I just know that I respect them more than Destrolox. So I'm gonna give arcane an S. I think after they cast evocation, they get some sort of damage buff. But yeah, I respect arcane mages, and I have been zeroed out pretty quick fighting against these guys standing in the open. So you should do the same. If this was the start of the expansion, I would put Boomkin in CD tier, but it's not, and they've been kind of creeping up on me a little bit. They actually kill me more often than Destrolox. I would describe Boomkin as a worse LA Shaman. Once they get full astral power, they could just blast you with Star Surge, and it honestly catches you off guard every now and then. I've been zeroed out by a couple Star Surges from full astral power Boomkins. Of course, I respect Incarn. I still run for the hills. I give them their 30 seconds of glory, but yeah, just make sure you're watching these guys. They could sneak up on you if they have full astral power, and they've been kind of trying to sneak in on you and like hit you with those little bursts and swaps. Yeah, just respect the Boomkin based on its damage alone. Its CC is somewhat laughable because you could just pre-freedom the root beam a lot of the times when you're tracking that. And if you are by pillar when your wings is off cooldown, you really won't get cloned that often. And when your wings is up, you could stick to these guys and kick their clones and you have nothing to worry about. But yeah, respect the Boomkin based on its damage alone. Run from Incarn, obviously, and respect a full astral bar because those Star Surges definitely do hurt. We're going to talk about Athlock really quick. It's absolutely garbage in the face of a melee wings paladin. They got absolutely nothing. They do their full go on me. I dispel it. My melee wings are up. I'm healing for free while I'm silenced. They pop their 2-minute pet. My team's whittling down. Oh no, oh no. Big damn judge. Everyone's topped. It's absolutely not an issue. So if you play Athlock, I'm sorry to say this, but you got absolutely nothing against us at the end of the day. And this is going to be my tier list based on how much damage these guys could do to take you from 100 to 0. S tier, A tier, B tier speaks for themselves. D tier, man, I wouldn't even look at it. I mean, just get it out of here. Absolute garbage. It's not even gonna be on the list. I'm not gonna put Beastmaster or Marksman on the list because they're not wizards. This is gonna end the section of the video where we talked about respecting classes based on them being able to zero you out from 100 to 0. And this is gonna be the final list. I will put the lock back on there just for authenticity's sake. But we're going to be going into the gameplay section of this video now. In this clip, I'll be fighting against LA Shaman Destro Disc, and my two main goals fighting against any Wizard Cleave is do not compromise my position, because if I compromise my position, I could get soloed and bursted out, or I could get put into an endless CC chain, which will result in me losing the game. And my second goal is to get the most value out of my team's cooldowns. That way, if I'm there with my team, helping them get the most value out of their cooldowns, it'll create immense pressure. And depending on what we get with that pressure, we could win the game based on that. So let's see how this game starts. So the gates drop, and then I just go into my Holy Shock, Bestow Faith. We get a gate onto the top platform. So they're starting to take over the platform, and we don't like their footing. So we invade up to the platform to get a better hold on it. And this is where the game actually starts. So my warrior leaps in. He gets a spear. He gets knocked off, which is fine. We're starting to set up a little bit. I hodge here. Why do I hodge here? I hodge because I do not want to compromise my position, and I want to get the most value out of my team's CDs. So if this warlock is able to have free reign on me, he could CC me or drop Infernal and try to burst me out. That way I cover myself and my position with a hodge here. You'll notice that my warrior reconnects, and we drop an Infernal next. So right off rip, we already have Dome. So now we're getting value out of our team's cooldowns. Since we got Dome immediately, I'm ready to pop my wings now because I'm helping my team get value out of their cooldowns, and I'm getting value out of my cooldowns. I'm creating pressure and healing my team at the same time by popping my wings here. So let's see what happens next. The moment this Infernal hits me, I wall. So check this out. I press my wall immediately. I notice I'm taking damage. So now that my wall is up and the enemy is counter pressuring us with their cooldowns, my position isn't compromised because I still have my melee wings up and we're doing a go. So I'm going to heal. Even though they have their cooldowns pop, I'm going to still stay in and heal in this situation. The moment my position gets compromised, which will be this amazing coil, he gets all three of us, we immediately peel out. My whole team does this actually. We peel out and start to reconnect and what am I trying to say? Regain composure in our position. So we're getting absolutely wrecked here. We all get stunned. We all get coiled. So throughout this video, I tell my team, hey, I'm healing off this pet. You can't hear the comms in this video because I want to be able to talk over it without a lot of like audio clutter. But throughout this entire game, I'm always telling my team, I'm healing off this pet. I'm healing off this pet. Why is healing off the pet so good? I don't have to cast. So if I get kicked on Holy and I get locked for 6 seconds, I can't steed away, which further compromises my position, which further can make me get killed by these wizards. So I'm telling my team right now, I'm healing off this pet. I get a judgment proc here. I'm instant casting so I don't get locked. I start healing off the pet. Notice how we all run away while I'm still healing off this pet. Crusader striking it, judging it. We're topping off the team here. And now you could say that we've stabilized the game and we're all back onto an even playing field. Before we go any further, I just wanted to quickly say it is not your job to win the game. It is your job to heal your team and make sure nobody dies. Your DPS will win the game for you. If you just keep them up and you support them during their goes, that's how you're going to win the game with your team. You don't have to go out there with your Hodge, run in between the wizards, try to get a Hodge on the healer, try to blind out. I've done it learning H-Pally and I've gotten wrecked every single time. So let's see what happens in this game. You're going to see me sitting back and healing until our next go.
Too far away.
As I said, we're kind of waiting for our next go, and it's not my job to win the game, it's their job. So we're just kind of chilling, punishing the Slock. Coming in, he's overextending a little bit. He gets storm bolted, the warrior goes on him. I'm kind of throwing in my Hammer of Wrath every time, my Judgment every time it's off CD during my wings. Just topping my team. We don't have Spear, so our warrior's peeling back. The Lock's going out there to get soul shards. He's going out there to do some damage, to burn that healer mana. Notice how my mana is at 250k and their mana is at 182k. And I haven't done anything except sat back and healed my team while my warrior waits for his CDs. Okay, so now we're going in. All right, it looks like we're pushing in for second go here, and we do a spear go right off the bat. We get Dome, and we're gonna get a Paints Up on this Lock. So the moment I push up a little too far, this Lock's able to get a Fear and punish me for my positioning. My team is full, so I don't need a Trinket, and we're just chilling right now. The warrior is still going, so I'm trying to go with him. So that's why I'm pushing in with my melee wings. And I don't want my position to be compromised because that's the first rule and the first priority I have of the game, right? Do not compromise my position. So I cover myself with a Hodge. I can entrust that my Lock will be able to take care of the Shaman should he try to hex me. I realize nothing is really going to happen here, so I kind of back out just to protect my position a little bit. I give my warrior freedom, and now we're going to wait for the third go. We're just going to try to reset for Spear. We're going to make sure the team is topped off here, and that was the second attempt on the go here. We're kind of hitting this Lock a little bit as filler, And yeah, I like to call this like the filler part of the game. Like nothing really big is happening. No one honestly should die here. But let's see what happens when we wait for the third go to come around. So the game rages on, waiting for the third go here. We're just in a filler state of mind. The priest mana is a lot worse than mine. That's what I'm keeping track of here. My team's getting topped off nice and full. The moment my lock needs to, he peels back a little bit into the safety of the pillar here. So guys, this is the second time that I take advantage of this pet here to get safe, sufficient, maximum value healing for my wings. So I'm hitting this pet with Crusader Strikes. I'm throwing my Judgments into it. I'm throwing my Hammer of Wraths into it to extend my wings. My position is perfect. I'm healing at a 40-yard range. This lock can't fear me. This lock can't hit me. The shaman can't touch me. I just can't stress this enough. If any of you Holy Paladins were to take just one thing away from this video, it would be please heal off the pets as often as you can in a safe spot. It's like a magical little cheat that I don't see a lot of Holy Paladins use when I fight against them. So I'm healing off the pet here. It's just amazing. I love it. And it's just, I'm so safe. I sack the warrior because he's taking a little bit too much dam. I push in with my proc here. I'm gonna throw it here on this lock, top my team. Okay, so what am I thinking now? My position, it's honestly, it's a little sus because this, as you notice, I'm gonna get hexed here, but there's no pillar for me. They're super far away, so I can't even take advantage of my wings here. I'm gonna eat this CC chain, and this is just an example of what happens when you don't respect your opponent and you compromise your position. So the reason I didn't trinket that is my lock still had wall and dark pacts, and I trust that he wouldn't die in that situation, and he used his dark pact and we're just fine here. So I do get locked, and I've actually had enough of the abuse. I'm like, I just ate a full CC chain, I'm getting kicked, I'm running straight back to the pillar because I'm going back to those roots, not compromising my position. As you can see here, that's what I do. I go straight back to the pillar. As I'm going back to the pillar, we do a third spear go. So we get gate, we get paints up, which is really nice. Now we're resetting and we're waiting for that fourth go. And they're gonna try to kill us, and they're gonna try to push in with this Infernal. The first thing I'm thinking when he drops this Infernal go on me is, thank you, you've given me a great gift. The gift of safe, efficient healing on your pet. So for the third time, guys, I take advantage of this guy's pet and I full heal my team multiple times. So let's see how their go goes. They're hitting me, they're peppering me a little bit. I'm healing off this pet, guys. And it's not my job to win the game. It's my job to make sure my team doesn't die. So I'm not running in, hodging, and blinding right now. I'm just making sure my warrior can do his thing, my lock doesn't die, and I'm doing that by healing off the pet, by using my procs. I'm even walking away from these guys as they push in. Because if I push out, they probably will CC me or kill me. Okay. It gets a little dicey here. So, notice how I'm going to heal my lock over me. And the reason I don't heal myself in this situation and I give my lock priority is because I'm lined from the enemy warlock. So he cannot actually kill me. But he can kill my warlock. So I'm prioritizing healing my lock here over myself. I get a wings proc, which is really nice. And this is where it ends. We throw the Infernal. We're going in for that final push here. So my warrior gets an amazing triple fear. He pushes the priest back into my line. And then the shaman is going to drop a grounding totem. And then out of that grounding, I hodge the priest and we get a win. So notice how the only time I got a CC on the healer this entire match was when the healer presented himself to me. And maybe not willingly, but since my warrior feared this priest and he ran straight to me, I took advantage of the fact that he is in my line. Now I can hodge him, and it just so happened to line up and we got a kill. So there's the grounding. I kind of don't want to get feared, and he really wants to heal his team. Hodge, we win the game right here. Check this out. Lock's dead. To wrap this up, I think this was a picture-perfect example of how considering your position and prioritizing that over making flashy plays with Steed Hodge will net you more wins against wizards. Since I stayed back, I made sure that I didn't get into a permanent CC chain, and I made sure that I didn't get bursted out by being in a bad spot. I was able to catch a win against these wizards. And like I said, I'm not the hero of the game. I just let my DPS win the game for me because that's their job. I can't stress that enough. I just sat back, protected my position, and made sure that they did not die by appropriately managing my cooldowns and looking for our go opportunities. And just like that, the first video in the what's and whys of the arena is done. We covered wizards, who would have thought? I just wanted to say, if you have any suggestions or you have any ideas that you would like to be brought to life in this series, go ahead and leave a comment in the comments down below, and I have no problems making an entire video based on your question / comment, or whatever it is that you would like to see or have a more expanded explanation of. I know that's like a lot to say, so I just wanted to quickly say thank you so very much for everyone who watched the video. Until next time, take it easy.